Hi everyone, so today we're going to be reviewing the I Heart Revolution Peanut Butter Cup palette. I've had this in my collection for quite some time now, but I've tried to do something where I've just stopped buying makeup this year and just to save a bit of money, and I found this in my drawer and realised I hadn't actually ever used it. So I'm going to on screen I've just put where the makeup starts. That'll be at 3:34, but if you do want to see swatches of this palette, then continue to watch, of course. So I've recently reviewed, I think it's the Chilled palette from I Heart Revolution, and I love that, but it's sort of like a similar theme in terms of like how the eyeshadows perform. So the mattes in this are much better than the Chilled palette, I have to say. They're a bit more sort of buttery, with a lot less kickback, and I feel like they're just a bit easier to sort of work with. Although when I was using a few of the mattes on the eye, I think it was the milk chocolate shade, which is like the second from last, that wasn't the best. But yeah, overall the mattes are much better. Of course, the shimmers in this palette are fantastic. Makeup Revolution do incredibly high performing shadows, especially when it comes to the more foiled shadows. They're really good. And then I think, to be fair, that's the only sort of textures within this palette. So I'm just going to play the rest of it and then skip to the makeup tutorial. So for the makeup look today, I'm going to be priming my eyes with the Rimmel Lasting Finish Concealer. This is really good. I love this for my eye base and it's my go-to. So I'm starting off with milk chocolate, and I'm not sure what sort of happened here, because when I was placing this shadow down, I think maybe I put too much down. It was a little bit more difficult to blend out, so I had to really work with this shade. But what I'm doing is just covering the base of the lid and just sort of marking out the crease area, and then I'm using a big fluffy brush from Real Techniques just to buff all of that out. And you'll notice that it's a bit more difficult, like the product isn't as dispersing nice, but I don't know, maybe it was something to do with the base. So I'm taking Smooth, which is like a peachy burnt orange shade, and I'm using this over the top of that other shade, not really to blend it out too much, but just to diffuse the colour, because I knew that I was going to apply a darker colour on top of this anyway. So for the next shade, I'm taking this shade here, which is, it's almost like a dark plum brown, and I'm using this on the outer third just to deepen up the crease area, but also to try and get rid of that initial shade, because when it's blended in, it sort of diffuses in much nicer, but it took it quite purpley, which I think I actually quite liked. So I'm then going in with foil and placing this on the lid of my eye, and also sort of just stopping it in the outer part of the eye so that it blends into the matte shade a bit better. And just to add a bit more dimension, I'm going to go in with the next shade, which is Salty, which is a really white sort of crystal shadow. And I'm using this on mainly the inner third of the eye, but I sort of just dab the brush across the whole eyelid just so that it has a bit more luminescence to it. But these two shades work really, really well. But I'm also taking Salty on the eyebrow and then also in the inner tear duct as well. And then just a final, well, the final shadow I'm going to be using is this shade here, and it's the dark, I think it's black, but it's not like true black. I'm using that on the outer third, but tucking it in a bit more than the other shades, just so that it adds a bit more dimension, and I like it. Makes it look more smoky. So I'm taking that plum brown shade on the lower lash line, smudging that in, and then also taking that other transition shade, which was like the orangey shade. I've completely forgot what these names are called. They're really, really cute names. But yeah, so I'm using it on the lower lash line. Then I'm using Night Moth from MAC. I don't think you actually meant to use this on your eye because it's a lip pencil, but I did, and I really like the look. I think it makes it look super autumnal, even though we're technically coming out of winter. But yeah, I really, really like this look, and I think it makes the blue in my eyes pop as well. So then I'm just lining my lashes. I'm not going to focus too much on this simply because there's a darker shade on the outer third anyway, and it's just something for me to adhere my lashes to. So I'm going to use the Makeup Revolution 5D Lash Mascara just to coat my lashes. Again, only going to do sort of one application so that they're not powdery looking, I guess. I'm taking these lashes that I can't remember where they're from. I used them in my last video. But yeah, that's the whole look. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I really, really love these tones. I think they are so, so beautiful. And for me, I think this palette is really good. I'll be using it a bit more. But yeah, it's just the colour story I'm a little bit unsure of, so I won't be using it as much as the other ones. Thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you in my next video. Bye!